Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? I hope I have not kept you waiting too long. I really do. Let's see. Let's do this. I should put my glasses on, shouldn't I? Hi! Boy, that put you right up in my business, didn't it? Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday. It's time for some coffee and some creative shenanigans. I don't want you to see all my mess. So I'm gonna ease you back around to the side here. Welcome to Two Girls Treasure. We're in Florence, South Carolina, located at the PD State Farmers Market. And there we go. A little less crooked that time. There we go. It's cold in South Carolina this morning, and I hope where you are nestled into some nice snuggly warm clothes, or the temperatures are fabulous. When Alice Erickson gets on here, I know her temperatures are going to be over the top amazing, because she's, out in the desert Southwest, so she does not have the nonsense that we have around here. Well, we had a really super cool time last week projecting and demonstrating the erasable liquid chalk. Those items that are retiring from Iron Orchid Designs are on sale through the end of the month, which is only 7 more days. 1 more week and all those products will not be on sale. Buy one, get the second one, and both items will be 20% off. Buy one retiring, one not retiring, get 20% off both. Buy one item, you don't get a discount. Buy both items, you get a discount. If you are a Rethunk Junk bag holder, bring your bag back in person to Two Girls Treasure. If you're online and you're a bag holder, we will work the details out. Get in touch with me privately and I'll let you know how to do what you do. But the colors of love for the bag holders are on sale, 10% off any of those products. Your Cloud, your Cotton, your Flamingo, your Bashful Blush, your Ruby Red, your Barn Door, Violet Shadow, just for good measure. Good morning, y'all. Michelle and Chris. Gay, good morning. I'm so glad to see you here. I miss you. Alice, I was talking about you because it's cold here and I know it's not cold there. So send us some of your good vibes and your warm weather. We need it. We need it. Bag holders, 10% off any of the Colors of Love collection. Any of the Colors of Love collection. And a special free with purchase gift, because that's just how we roll. Make sure if you have your bag, you bring it when you come shopping. Make sure if you don't have a bag that you get one. We currently have 2 left on the table. 2 bags free with $50 or more Rethunk Junk paint purchase. Lisa, good morning, girly. How are you? Lisa and I went and hung out at a fabulous event on Saturday evening. There are a lot of crafting events right now, vendor events, small events, and this one was held at the Effingham Church of God. And Lisa and I went Saturday afternoon, stayed until late Saturday evening. We had a wonderful time. So ladies, if you're here this morning, we thank you so very, very much for having us at your church and letting us bring some of our wares to set up on your tables and enjoy the fellowship. It was beautiful. Thank you. Alice, it's cold. Okay, I'm gonna need some warmer weather. I really am. I expected you to do that for me. So, all right. One of the things that I said I wanted to do last week, I wasn't able to share with you because I've got some glitchy thing going on between my telephone and my iPad. So it was fun, wasn't it, Lisa? All right, everybody, good vibes for warm weather. Good vibes for warm weather. Can you see behind me? Let me move. Look, that is the china cabinet to the base, to the table and 6 chairs, and it will be reassembled and delivered. Reassembled and delivered today. I'm very excited about that. Miss Wilkes, if you're anywhere around your phone, your Facebook, your YouTube, our website, thank you for letting us work on your precious furniture. I love doing refurb jobs. I love freshening furniture, and it can be a daunting task sometimes, but the reward for what we do here is amazing. And sometimes starting with smaller projects teaches us the patience and the diligence and the nuances that we need to understand to do some of those bigger projects. Sometimes we just find something that is amazingly cool, and I want to share it with you. Let me share this. So if you are on YouTube today, I really want you to go to this YouTube page. Now, it says Garden with Fairies, but if you look closely to find this page on YouTube, you need to go to Garden with Fairies DIY. Look how many subscribers she has. I am jealous. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not salty about it, but I'm jealous. And the description is amazing. Oksana lives in Siberia. Pardon me. I got so jealous I sneezed from it. Forgive me. I am amazed by her work, and I think you will be too. So I've been practicing and testing, and when you watch her videos, of course I don't speak Russian. Of course I don't. But she tends to just do the craft and have music. And the one craft that she did that I was blown away by was a fairy jar. So I did my own version. I used whatever materials I had at hand to do this. So you can't really see this well. But basically we have a framework, almost like a window. And then deep, deep inside, we have a decoupage napkin that has cherries on it, and of course it is very hard to see through this. I didn't clean the outside of the glass super good, and I used paper towels over it. That's why it has a textury finish, basically because that's what I had in my kitchen at the time. That's where I was working this. So let's start all over. I have 2 jars. I have 2 different decoupage napkins, and I will show you. Now, I've been working on some different things. Since I had my Rethunk gunk out, thank you, Lisa, I played with my paper towels because that's what I had handy, but I should do this with smooth tissue. Nice and hard, but look at that. Now, of course, I got paint on it because I'm messy when I'm in the kitchen. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning. Isn't that cool? How did you do that? I'm so glad you asked. I took one of the first generation IOD singles mold sets. I don't have one handy, but I basically just laid in my paper towel piece and put the Rethunk Gunk on it, and then layered paper towel and Rethunk Gunk until I got enough and figured I better stop or it would never ever come out. And I got this. After it dried, I got this. It took the impression of the mold onto the paper. I'm amazed and I'm digging this. And it's nice and hard. It's got a little bit of flex to it, not a lot. And I don't want to flex it too much because I let it dry stiff. So I imagine in experimenting with this, if I laid it over a jar and let it dry on the round, that I would have this in the round. So this looks like it's going to be a great recycling project that we're going to have to investigate together. I also have been mixing paint. Now I posted this to the Rethunk Junk retailers yesterday afternoon. I'll share this with you. You know how I love my paper plates for mixing. So basically I started with Cloverfield right there in the center, and then I mixed other colors in equal ratio to get these different greens. I'm trying to custom mix for a customer. So this one here on the bottom, this is Pine Shadow and Cloverfield. And next we have, going backwards, but work with me, Sea Spray and Cloverfield. Keep going this way. Robin's Egg and Cloverfield. And this is Peacock Feather and Cloverfield. I really like that. I really like that one. And then we have Fresh Sage and Cloverfield. Guess what that made? English Ivy, which is a retired color. So if you need English Ivy, there you go. You're welcome. Fresh Sage and Cloverfield. And then this is Seaside and Cloverfield. So these are custom mixes, equal parts, just one of one and one of the other, equal parts. If you're calling, I'm not ignoring you. I can't answer the phone right now, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I need a container. So I'm going to grab one of my purple containers. And because I committed to the paint inlays, I'm going to do it. I am going to do it because I have multitasking projects on my workbench right now. We open at 10 a.m. and at 10 a.m. I will call you back. Anybody know what these are? Let me do the dual view so I can talk with you and we can look at the same time. You know what these are? They're mermaid tails. Of course they are, because that's what they look like, is like a fish tail, right? A mermaid tail. These are actually, these come off of the palm tree outside. And I'm obsessed with the pieces from palm trees, just in case you never knew that about me. The fronds, the seed pod that grow on the palm trees. They are solid whole vessels, and then once the seeds burst out, they open up into this amazing wood product. And I cut them off of the tree, or I wait until the seeds fall and then I snatch them off. But they're beautiful wood pieces. And if you're going to reclaim something to do projects with, they are amazing. We will explore those too. But these fall off naturally when the piece with the leaves on it falls off. These are left. And then these fall to the ground and I collect them. I want to do a multimedia decoupage with these, and we'll save this for another time. I think these would look fabulous with the, oh, you know what? We can do it now. The paint inlays. The paint inlays will look great. And this had a little bit of a break in it, but you know what? Once I painted it, it was pretty secure. So we can do paint inlay on this. Let's do it. Let's do it. I was also, because I'm obsessed with the blue and white thing, I was gonna do another heart. Because here's the thing about the paint inlays. If you do a smaller piece at a time, then it's just like any other project that you work with. It gives you a greater measure of success, and then it's easier to learn how to do it well. And once you learn to do it well, then you can do your large pieces. Or if what you love to do are small pieces, it's okay. You know what? Just learn to do them and you will do them well. Now, I have a couple of things that you're gonna need. You're gonna need a spritzer bottle. So if you have not gotten your continuous mister from the beauty supply store, go get one. I actually saw some at the big box store, the giant of all box stores. I don't know how good a quality they are. This I had to have because it has kisses all over it. Had to have that. There's never enough kisses and hugs in this world. Don't kiss me, hug me. But you're going to need your continuous mister. Now, I have my brayer. If you have one, you'll need it. If you don't have your brayer, that's okay. You don't necessarily have to have this, but I'll show you why this is a great tool to have on hand. And then I'm gonna lean all the way up in front of you and I'm gonna grab this. You're gonna want a cloth that you can dampen and use, and I'll show you how we're gonna use that as well. So, mister, brayer, cloth. Today we're gonna work with a piece of the Indigo Floral. Isn't that lovely? I think it's so pretty. Now, both of my pieces are already painted. I'm gonna kick over to just a single view so you can see everything I'm doing, okay? And we're going to start with a base that's already painted, okay? And then we're going to take our white paint and I'm gonna just grab a small, this is my 1/2-inch brush. Let me remember which camera we're working with right here. This is just my 1/2-inch brush. I'm gonna work with this one, okay? And I'm going to lightly mist my surfaces. And here's why. It is cold this morning. It's cold in here. My paint is cold, 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 cold all the way around, right? Not necessarily the best scenario. But I'm going to lay paint not completely side to side, but just in here. Just in here. And when you're doing your second layer, go ahead and put a good base coat. When you're getting ready to do your layer for your inlay, put a very generous coat of paint. Now, there is a point where it's too much and there's a point where it's not enough. How do you know, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked, because the simple answer is this is not science. This is creative, and it is a forum that you have to work with to work out. If I tell you a certain amount to use and it doesn't work well for you that way, then I have told you wrong. And that's not fair. And I don't want to do that. And if I tell you a certain amount and it's too much and it ruins your project, then you'll be pretty ticked off at me. And I don't want that either. How do you know? Well, again, this is not science. This is crafting, and it is subjective. And I don't say that to be catty. Hang on. I say that because so many times we want to give you 100% correct answers. And the simple truth is, it's crafting, it's creating, it's designing. There is no one correct answer. This is something for you to test and experiment and find what you're comfortable with each and every time. And you know what? It will not take you a bunch of different times to figure it out. You'll figure it out and it'll be awesome. What I have found is a reasonably generous layer of Rethunk Junk paint, and there's a couple of spots I'm going to put a little bit more. I have the space heater on over here, and I don't really want the heater on this. I want this to dry on its own. It's cold in here, y'all. I am bundled up today. This is why it's so cool to work with smaller pieces. Lay that inlay down on top of your wet paint. Just lay it down. Take your brayer, and I'm gonna do like the stamp thing, and I'm gonna tell you, find a blank spot and anchor your inlay sheet, your carrier sheet. That's what this is. Anchor it and lay it down. The beautiful thing about the Indigo Floral is the flexibility in using smaller pieces, right? Because you can cut this any way you want. Now, I've used my brayer to just smooth it. It sort of impresses it into the paint, but it smooths it. Now, here's where your continuous mister comes in. And I'm going to move this sheet because I don't want to get it wet. And I'm going to dampen my carrier sheet. You saw it change color here. Now I'm going to take my cloth. I'm going to dampen my cloth. There we go. This is a nice cotton towel. It will take a lot of the water. I'm squishing the water into the towel so that it's not saturated. And I'm just going to take the damp towel and I'm going to press the water into the carrier sheet, into the paint. Just gently. Make sure you catch all the areas. And then look. We're going to leave this alone and we're going to set it to the side, okay? We're going to let that dry for a reasonable period of time without being in the heat. So I'm going to lay that down over there, and I'm going to take this piece. I didn't paint the top because I needed a place to hold on. We'll do it exactly the same way. Let's put a layer of paint on in the places where we want to cover. Mermaids are classic, blue and white is classic. Paint inlays are an amazingly different product. If you haven't tried them, I really encourage it. All right, that's all the paint we're gonna need on there. We have a good coat of paint on there. Cap it, move it, and I'm going to split this in half There's grid lines on this, if you can see them. And I'm just gonna cut straight down the grid line so that this is in halves. I'm gonna take 1/2 and I'm gonna lay it in on this side of my mermaid tail. And I'm sure that there is a fine technical botanical term for this piece of wood. In my world, they're mermaid tails. And then I'm gonna lay this one in on this side. If you don't use Rethunk Junk paint products, I'm not mad at you for that. I'm gonna cut a relief right here because of the bend in the wood. But no matter what paint brand you use, there are different ways to manipulate these inlays to work with your favorite brand of paint. Michelle, I know you're a Dixie Belle user. Dixie Belle works well with these inlays. However, I think the silk may not be the thing to use. Lynette, you're never ever late, and I'm glad to see you. Thanks for being here. All right, we're gonna lay our, I'm tamping gently on this because I don't want to break the wood. Tamp gently, and there you go. We've got an inlay on each side of the mermaid tail, over white, over blue, and we're gonna set this out of the heat, and we're gonna let that dry naturally as well. Those may not be complete by the time we get done playing here this morning. That's okay. That's okay. I'll show them to you whenever I get through. I will be sure to show you the process. Let me grab my prep rag. I've got one right here. And tell you what I'd rather use. Let me get a paper towel. That would be so much better right now. Let me grab a paper towel. Got my little paper towel roll right here behind me. And I'm gonna split this again. Anybody notice that I used my fabric scissors this morning? That's because we're basically working on a fabric type material. I know it is a napkin and it is a paint inlay. Two things. I know for a fact that my paint scissors have been used for other things, and I mean my fabric scissors, I know they've been used for other things, and so I've lost some of the good sharp that I need from them, and that is what I knew would cut both of those pieces nicely. And we're getting ready to do the decoupage napkins now. So I'm just cleaning the jar with prep. I sprayed the prep on my paper towel and I'm just cleaning it. Glass, you know, you can paint on glass. You can paint on glass with Rethunk Junk all you want, but the glass still needs to be cleaned off. And you pick glass up, you touch the glass, you do the things, you let it sit, it gets dusty. If we want this to work well, clean them first. I'm gonna take the lids off, and I'm gonna set those to the side because we're gonna use those later. And yes, this is an original Atlas Seal All arc lid. You know what? It's not good for canning anymore. It's good for home decor projects. Now, this is where we learned some really cool things from Oksana in Siberia. and I really want to share these with you. She used a completely different style decoupage napkin. I'm going to use the one with the little birds on it that I got from Michelle. So I'm going to cut the little birds out. I used this on one of my hearts last week, remember? And remember, I didn't throw it away because I said I have something else I want to do with this, so I'm going to save the pieces of napkin. Well, between here and last week, between last night and last week, I totally forgot I wanted to do this project today. And then after I posted that we were going to do paint inlays, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I really want to do this too. So we're going to do this too. I'm just going to trim out my birds and some of my branches because they're so pretty. We're going to layer these over that jar. We're going to use our Rethunk Gunk. I love my decoupage medium. Decoupage, however you say it, we have it. We have a medium to use. It is called Rethunk Gunk. It is all the things all in one. And it is superbly cool and fun to use, and you need it in your life for your crafting projects. I've got a little bird butt. I'm not sure I'm going to use the bird butt. The bird behind, I'm so sorry. The bird behind. I'm going to leave this as one whole piece. So I have a container. I have my jug of Rethunk Gunk. And I'm going to shake it up and pour it in. Because it's easier to use out of a container than it is to try to use it out of the big jug. So we're going to set that there. I'm going to get one of my fluffy brushes. That is Diane speak for I've used the mud out of that brush and it is frayed on the edges. Now, rather than putting the decoupage outward so you can see the most beautiful, vivid color on this side of the jar, we're going to reverse that. Reverse decoupage. I'm going to go ahead and take that up, and I'm going to trim this bottom edge off because we don't need it hanging over the bottom of the jar. We just don't need it like that. I can probably trim this top edge off too. We can do some, oh, you know what we can do with the scrap pieces? Save these. We can use all the teeny tinies to do the mold and create a mold around the top edge of that. Save those, we're gonna use them. Beautiful side down. You can still see the bird, but your beautiful side is down to the glass. Not a real heavy application of gunk. You just don't need it. You need enough to secure that piece to the glass. Okay? Just go over it. Just go over it. Just like that. Okay? And there we go. Gently, and you will have fewer bubbles and wrinkles. When you come up to the top, when you roll it over that edge, if you're careful, you won't have very many wrinkles, but it's gonna be okay. We're gonna lay over piece, okay? I watched Oksana do this about a half dozen times now. I have shared her name and her page with you for a week. I've told everybody who will listen to me about her because I was so inspired by what I saw her do that I just have to do it too. I'm gonna put a bird right beside a bird as if they are speaking to each other, but the pretty side down. Wait till you see this. If you did not go look at Oksana's video last week when I told you, Lisa, did you go look? You missed out on something amazing. And then she has another video that I saw, and I'm like, girl, stop. I can't keep up with all the projects unless I just sit right here all day and do this. Then I could keep up. There's our train. It's 9:42. We still have time to spend. All right. And we're just gonna come on around with the birds. Come all the way around. I don't want to wreck a bird. I'm gonna put part of the tree stem in. I've got a little birdie face right there. So I'll pat that down and gunk it on. Now, I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna set these in front of the heat because I want these to dry. I want them to dry quickly because I want to show you how this goes. And if I can't do it quickly, I'm just simply gonna have to do it tomorrow. If I can't get it done today, we will have to go live again tomorrow because I promise you are going to love how this project works. And you can do this. You can do this. You could actually even use paint inlays to do jars. It will not come out like this necessarily, but you could totally do it. Ooh, I bet I know a way how. I'm not gonna explore that right now. We're doing decoupage. We're gonna keep doing decoupage until we have this. I'm gonna leave this section open, no bird, because I'm gonna use that for my frame. Remember, we're gonna leave a framework open, and that way we'll be able to see the pretty birds inside the jar from outside the jar. And with fairy lights inside the jar, you know I'm obsessed with some fairy lights. They just look so calming. I'm gonna put some around the bottom here, so we'll use this small birdie on the bottom, right here. So pretty, so pretty. A little bit too much. I didn't tamp the brush off enough. Gently pull it back over. Look at that. Gently, so you don't tear it. Remember, we're on one ply because we pulled the other plies off last week to use them on our hearts. If you missed that, you can always go back. I'm gonna stand it up. You can always go back and watch any of our Coffee and Create tutorials on our Facebook page. You can also watch them on our YouTube channel. You can. Let me do this. Let me see if I can get it on the screen. Right there. That's what I'm talking about. Like and subscribe. If you are on Facebook, following me is wonderful. It makes me feel so special that you want me to be a part of your Facebook feed, and I thank you. But if you could like and follow, that would be spectacular. And if you are watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. I've got a little open here. Look, you can see the birds. Aren't they beautiful? Now I'm gonna put this over here, and I'm gonna let that dry hard. I'm even gonna turn the fan on it. I want it to dry hard quick. So we're gonna do heat, and we're gonna do fan, and we're gonna blow all the things away. Now, Oksana actually used, and I'm gonna save my extra pieces because we're gonna use those later. Oksana actually did her project with sunflowers. Would you use the same amount of decoupage when doing a can? You know, you use the amount of decoupage medium that it takes to adhere your piece to the can. And you don't want to oversaturate it, but you want to make sure you have enough on there. We can do some cans. Anytime, now let's see, we're approaching the end of January. So any projects that you would like to replicate with Rethunk Gunk, you can. Pun intended, Sharon, pun intended. My YouTube name, if you type in Two Girls Treasure, let me find it for you, Chris. Let me find it for you. Let's see. Live on my YouTube channel. Let's find it. It is. It's Two Girls Treasure. Let me turn the volume down so you don't have to listen to me twice. Hey. Now let's see. Michelle, did you actually check? It's at Two Girls Treasure. Can you see? But when you do it on YouTube, run all the words together. All the words. Let's see. Let me see if I can share the link. I cannot. I know there's a way. Tell you what, when we get done here, I will, I'll share the link on Facebook, Chris, so you can go straight to it, okay? Because I'll go down a rabbit hole right this very minute for you, and it's 10 minutes till 10. Let's see, I'm gonna cut out my sunflowers and I'm gonna cut around the blue, and I'm gonna save these little pieces because we're gonna use them. We are. You know what, I could tunk them down in the jar and that way I won't lose them. All right. There we go. Now I've got to think about whether or not Oksana put, nope, she didn't. There's a point where she puts paint over the top of her decoupaged pieces. There's also a point where she puts her decoupage over her white tissue, the ones I told you to save. She uses these also, so we're not going to throw those away. I never throw those away because I can always use them for something. I feel like I can always use them for something, and I would rather not throw them away. Because if we're going to use these napkins for decoupage, we should use every piece that we can. All right. I'm going to follow, I should have my little scissors for this, but they were out of my reach, and I moved this china cabinet to the back side, and so they were just out of my reach this morning. I'm going to zing around these. There we go. Let me see if I can speed this up just a little bit. One more big one. Love the way this looks. Love it, love it. We're gonna trim this side down a little bit. because I don't want all of that blue in there. And I'm going to trim this right here. Now you can also, while we're live, and this video will probably stay on our page on our website until Thursday, you can shop the Coffee and Create collection, and with your purchase of $25 or more, you can save 10% on anything you buy. While this video is up, you will see if you're watching online on twogirlstreasure.com, you can click the shop button and you can just simply shop the collection of pieces that we're working with. If you want to work with these decoupage papers, let me know. Now, of course, the bird I don't have any more of. The sunflowers I have plenty of, and I will be glad to share those with you. We have a decoupage section in our creative accessories tab, and I will just simply add to that whatever it is you want to share. Now, pretty side down to the glass. Let me ease you over, pretty side down to the glass, and then I squish my gunk out of my brush so that I don't have too much going on. I don't want to tear this. I love sunflowers. Who else is a huge sunflower fan besides me? I know Natalie is. Mrs. Natalie Webster is a huge fan of sunflowers. Daisies, Gerbera daisies are cousins. You gotta love the cousins too now. So basically, if you get the different varieties, you can have sunflowers all year long. You can go one season into the next with the cousins. And cousins are the best, right? Right, Taylor? Right. All right, so I have my large sunflower, pretty side down to the glass. I'm gonna do it again right. Let me move it over a little bit right here. We'll lay that on gently. And Sharon, there's no wrong way to put your decoupage medium on, your rethunk gunk, unless you tear your materials. And if you tear it, squish it back together. No one will know. And I'm not going to tell on you. Just squish it back together. Pretty side down. And I'm going to have a trail at the bottom, and I will just trim that off. Garden with Fairies DIY. Oksana in Siberia. She is my inspiration for this specific project, and I love that randomly and suddenly someone from Siberia showed up in my YouTube and gave me a new way to play with my rethunk gunk and my pretty napkins, and wait till you see the layers that go into this, because it is amazing, it is beautiful. I am gonna put that leaf right there to fill in that spot. It is amazing and beautiful, and what she did with the resources she had was absolutely amazing. Now, I showed Lisa, I think Lisa and I stood and watched, and we fast forwarded a little bit because I was so excited to share it. But find Oksana, find Two Girls Treasure, and no matter what, you'll be able to follow me as I emulate Oksana's reverse decoupage project, because it is a beautiful project. I don't know if I can do it exactly like she did. I have not yet, and this is my third container, fourth. So I'm gonna keep trying. I'm going to leave these edges just like they are, because this is where I will do my framework. I'm gonna peel this leaf off and I'm gonna lay it in right here on this top side. I wanna fill that in. Way too much material right there, but it's okay. And I'll put, excuse me, I will put this one right there. I'm talking too much and not drinking my coffee doing this. That is all that's wrong with me. I need a few more pieces, but I'll work it out. I'm going to let this dry and then I'll create my framework right there. There we go. I'm gonna sip my coffee. Let me go ahead and grab my razor blade, because I want to show you. I don't want to lay it down on the towel because it's damp on this side. I'm gonna move that in. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this. It's much easier to cut when it's wet. I do have an X-Acto in my life. I just don't know X-Acto where. That's funny. Exactly. I don't know exactly where. I think it's in the back, behind my wall, in my creative closet. But I don't want to leave you to go try to find it. Now, even though I scraped this off, I've got a spot here with my decoupage medium on it, my Rethunk Gunk. And you know what? I might have missed putting that in the collection, but I'll go back and fix it, and you can still get your discount on your purchase. I'm going to take a little more of the blue edge off, because I just want to create a framework right here so you can see inside the jar from outside the jar. It makes it so pretty. All right, let me pull some more of this off. Can you see this all right? Oh, Chris, you love sunflowers too. Good morning, Miss Judy. I'm sorry, I'm totally focused. Totally focused. I am so blown away by this project. And I found it on YouTube. And I have shared the page. So when Miss Judy, write this down. When you go on YouTube, I want you to look for and find Garden with Fairies DIY. Just search that. Search that and you will find Oksana in Siberia. Look inside the jar. Look at that sunflower inside the jar. We're gonna set this over and let this dry. Our birds are drying. I'm gonna put you right up in it. Look inside the glass. Now, we're gonna do more things right here. Let me show you the next step before we run out of time. It's 10:01. Anybody have to be gone? I do have to open the doors. I do have to open the doors. But I want to stay right here and play. Tell you what I'll do. I am going to sign out of our Coffee and Create this morning. And I have a couple of things that have to get done, and then I'll sign back in. And we can do it again. Lunchtime, you wanna meet me here for lunch? I think that'd be exciting. And then I can show you the next steps, because this is going to take multiple steps to get done. In the meantime, let me share it with you again. Let me make sure I send you to the right place. Garden with Fairies, DIY. If you see this, you will be on the right page, in the right place, at the right time. Let's take a look at our inlay, because we were doing multi-project. Before I go, let's see if we can spritz this and lift it. It's nice and dry. Let me get you to the right camera so you can see. Move my gunk out of the way. Let's spritz this. You want to get that wet so that it will release. I'm going to tamp it. Tamp that moisture into the sheet. It's a very thin sheet. And let's gently peel back. I need to spritz a little bit more right there. You don't want to rub. Your paint inlay sheets are active paint. And what that means is it will smear if you rub it. Look at it coming off. Look at that image. A piece down here at the bottom stayed hold. It's okay. The rest of it took it loose. Look at that. Look at that. That's beautiful. Now, lay this sheet down, paint inlay side up, and let it dry. Do not let it dry hard. So don't put it in the fan. Don't put it under the heat. That looks amazing. I love it. Oh, what a beautiful inlay. That came out perfect. Now, let's check out our mermaid tail. Let's see if I can reach it. Gonna knock half the world over. Getting to it. Oh, I'm glad I remembered these were sitting there. All right. Tamp that water in. Moisten that sheet. It is just as thin as a piece of tissue, so be gentle with it. Be gentle with it. All right, coming straight off the top. I'm gonna lay this down right here. Oh, this is beautiful. All of a sudden, the world changed. Look at that mermaid tail, y'all. Look how beautiful that mermaid tail is. I love it. Wow. I'm gonna stand here, sit here, and I'm going to ooh and ah over my mermaid tail for just a little while with my indigo floral paint inlay. And I hope you have enjoyed hanging out with me this morning. Listen, all of the products that we're working with today, all of the Iron Orchid Design paint inlays, except for the coming soon ones, are on the Coffee and Create collection. Save 10%. Your coupon code is COFFEE. Thanks so much for being here with me. I appreciate it. And I will look forward to seeing you again really, really soon, right here on Coffee and Create. Y'all have an amazing day, and I'll be back.